Priscilla Presley's life changed completely when she met one of the most iconic rock musicians in U.S. history. Priscilla met the king of rock and roll when she was only 14 years old. It seemed as Priscilla and Elvis had it all: money, fame, fortune, and a whirlwind romance. In actuality, Priscilla and Elvis's relationship had its own problems dominated by drug use, cheating, and loneliness. This is the tragic love story of Elvis and Priscilla Presley. The summer of 1959 was the beginning of Elvis Presley and Priscilla Beaulieu's romance in West Germany. Priscilla's father has recently been transferred from the Air Force. Priscilla had just been crowned Queen of Del Valle Junior High. She was only 14 years old, anxious about moving to a new town. Fortunately, Elvis was stationed close to the Beaulieu base in West Germany. The family would remain in 1958. Elvis was ordered into the military and served as part of the 30th Armor, 1st Medium Tank Battalion. Curry Grant, an Air Force man stationed in England, introduced Priscilla to Elvis. She was quite anxious to see the celebrity for the first time and believed that she wouldn't leave an effect on him due to her young age. She was totally wrong. Priscilla and Presley hit it up right away. The star asked her, "Well, what have we here? What are you, about a junior or senior in high school?" When she told him she was in 9th grade, he chuckled and said, "Why, you're just a baby." Then he strolled over to the piano and started singing. "I saw Elvis trying to get my attention," Priscilla remembered. "The less response I showed, the more he began singing for me and trying to get my attention. I couldn't believe that Elvis Presley was trying to impress me." Priscilla was invited back to his house for another gathering, and another. On that third night, he asked Priscilla to come upstairs to be alone with him. "I swear I'll never do anything to harm you. I'll treat you just like a sister," he told her. To her parents' dismay, she did not get home until 2 in the morning, and she was already starting to fall in love. Her parents weren't happy about their daughter dating the 24-year king of rock. My father said, "Absolutely not." My mother said, "I won't let you walk across the street to see Elvis Presley." Whenever they tried to stop us from seeing each other, I pleaded and cried. I knew this was going to be a battle. According to Priscilla's autobiography, when she first went back to school after a date with the star, she could not pay attention because she couldn't stop thinking about her time with Elvis. Instead of focusing on her schoolwork, she was imagining spending time with the young rock star and trying to relive the memories from the previous night. Her parents didn't like it at all, but when it became clear he wasn't going to stay away, Priscilla's father insisted they at least meet the man, and when Elvis came for dinner, he dressed to impress Priscilla's father, full in uniform. Before Presley met Priscilla, he had started dating a 19-year-old German woman named Elizabeth Stefaniak. Elvis and Stefaniak had started seeing each other around Thanksgiving in 1958, just months after Elvis was stationed in Germany. By Valentine's Day 1959, Stefaniak was living with Elvis in his home on the base. They slept together every night and fooled around. When Elvis started seeing Priscilla Beaulieu the following summer in 1959, he was still sleeping with Stefaniak every night. Stefaniak became intensely jealous of the blooming relationship, and especially of Priscilla. However, it was becoming clear to Stefaniak that Elvis was much more interested in Priscilla than he was in her. He started devoting more and more of his intimate time with Priscilla, and left Stefaniak dangling on a string. He told a friend that Priscilla was young enough that he could train her in any way he wanted to. Elvis became the center of Priscilla's world. When Elvis returned to the U.S. in March 1960, they hadn't talked in months and seen each other in 2 years, when in February 1962, he invited her to fly her out to Los Angeles. Once they'd convinced her dad, Elvis sent her a round-trip first-class ticket for a 2-week stay. He told her she couldn't stay overnight at his house. Priscilla later found out that he had only recently shipped his supposedly former girlfriend, Anita Wood, back to Memphis. When she went back to Germany, she told her mother that Elvis wanted her to move to Memphis to finish high school so she could be closer to Elvis. Her parents weren't convinced until Elvis told them that he would marry her eventually. Priscilla lived with Elvis, his father, and stepmother. She attended school in the USA, but she wanted to see Elvis every night. She was falling classes, and she stayed partying with Elvis till the early morning. She had only a few hours to get ready to school. It was still worth it for her if that she could spend her free time seeing Elvis. She started taking sleeping pills to keep up with Elvis, his lifestyle, and her school. Priscilla said, "He molded me into his woman. I wore the clothes, hairstyles, and makeup of his careful choosing. He also had porcelain caps, places on her teeth, and demanded she improve her posture. He slowly molded Priscilla into the woman he wanted her to be." Elvis had hairdressers sculpt Priscilla's hair and his style, so that she looked as much as him as possible. He never saw her without makeup and her hair done. Priscilla described herself as Elvis's living doll. She was also referred to as his live-in Lolita. Priscilla stated he taught me everything: how to dress, how to walk, how to apply makeup and wear my hair, how to behave, how to return love, his way. Over the years, he became my father, husband, and nearly God. It was only late in the evening, when we were in his bedroom, that I was truly happy, told Priscilla. They'd kiss and talk for hours. Priscilla has maintained that they never were intimate until their wedding night. Life at Graceland was lonely for her in those first years. Elvis's very involved manager didn't want it known that his valuable client had a steady girlfriend, for fear they'd give up their own hopes and dreams of being with Elvis and stop buying records. Priscilla was so afraid about the attention Elvis got from other women that she didn't want to loose Elvis out her sight. Almost every month there was a new headline in the paper that Elvis was seeing other women. Elvis was trying to comfort her and told her this wasn't true. But when Elvis began shooting Viva Las Vegas with Anne Margaret, Priscilla, her fear came to life. The two began having an affair. Priscilla was already suspicious because Elvis didn't want her to come to the set. Anne Margaret claimed they were soulmated. It would become a force we couldn't control. Priscilla got so upset about Elvis and Anne Margaret that she threw a vase at the wall. Elvis did understand it, but he said, "I want a woman who's going to understand that things like this might just happen. Are you going to be her or not?" Eventually, Priscilla accepted it. Both Priscilla Beaulieu and her father had been transferring Elvis signals for months that they were awaiting marriage to be soon, and Elvis himself had been considering the possibility for a while. Eventually, just days before Christmas, Elvis eventually asked Priscilla to marry him. Elvis got down on one knee in her bedroom at Graceland before Christmas in 1966, and proposing with a 312-carat diamond surrounded by 20 more diamonds. The wedding was 8 minutes long and was in Las Vegas. The cake was $200, which is around $28,000 in 2023 dollars. There were only 14 guests at the ceremony, and then a champagne breakfast for 100 and more guests. Priscilla told that their wedding was very unusual. It was the people closest to us and private, and that's how we wanted it. We didn't want a fan club. We didn't want a circus. 21 December 1967. At age 21, Priscilla was 7 months pregnant. Out of the blue, wanted Elvis a trial separation. Getting pregnant so early was not the plan. Priscilla wanted to be alone with Elvis for the first year, without any responsibilities. At first, was the pregnancy good for the relationship? Elvis needed some time to think. Things just aren't going right. It'll be good for the two of us to take a little time off, like a trial separation. Be apart from one another for a while, said Elvis. Priscilla never really believed that Elvis wanted to leave her. It wasn't his style, said Priscilla. 2 days later, he never laid another thought about the separation. At February 3rd, 1968, 9 months after their marriage, their daughter Lisa Marie was born. After Lisa Marie was born, Elvis stopped being intimate with Priscilla. Elvis once told her that he had never been able to make love to a woman who had a child. Priscilla was beginning to doubt her own sexuality as a woman. Her physical and emotional needs were unfulfilled. Elvis had a big temper. He was not used to hear no. If he saw somebody on TV he did not like, he took his gun and shoot and broke the TV. Then he would call his daddy to get another TV. Priscilla left Elvis in 1972. She felt like she did not know herself. I had to take responsibility for myself, Priscilla said. By leaving Elvis, she found Priscilla. She didn't know her own life. She lived Elvis' life, watched movie he wanted to see, listened to music he'd like. She went to places he wanted to go. As a woman, I didn't know who I was, said Priscilla. I know Elvis really wanted to have a family and be married. I don't think he could ever be faithful to one woman. 1 year later, at October 9th, their divorce was finalized. Priscilla and Elvis left the courthouse holding hands. Their post-marriage was positive. It was like we were never divorced, told Priscilla. She said that they still hugged each other, still called and talked about their day and what they are going to do. They still had love, they said. There was never any arguing or bitterness. Elvis was extremely lonely after they broke up. He was using drugs and never went out again. His new girlfriend, Linda Thompson, told that they lived like vampires. They were sleeping at day, and when the night falls, they went out. In August 1977, Elvis died at his home in Graceland from a heart attack at age 42. News of his sudden passing shocked Priscilla. Priscilla said that she flew to Graceland, the place where Elvis died, to see if there was anything she could do to help. When she got there, she saw that the streets were lined up with people crying and fainting, and that is how impactful he was. And still, on this day, people come around at the same place and same time, and they are all there. This was the story of Priscilla and Elvis Presley. Thank you for watching. If you want to see more, subscribe on my channel and leave a like.